Stick around later for Jimmy Fallon as he welcomes Dolly Parton tonight.
Right now on WCNC Charlotte, ice heading towards the Carolinas, but some new data tonight is shifting where that ice is going to fall. I'm going to show you where.
Kicked out in the cold, that's the reality for residents of Tent City. A new order forcing people to get out as the homeless camp is overrun by rats. Tonight, the rush to find somewhere to go right as icy weather comes our way.
And a young mother killed in her home after a loaded gun gets into the hands of a child. A local community now in pain trying to cope with the loss. Tonight, we talked to law enforcement urging people to please lock up their guns to prevent another tragedy like this.
But first, tonight, all eyes are on the forecast. We're getting ready for a potentially icy blast across our area. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for staying up with us tonight. I'm Sarah French.
And I'm Fred Shropshire. We got some much needed sunshine today, and we'll get some tomorrow, but soak it up while you can. Taking a live look at First Warn Doppler radar. It's clear, but come Thursday, this radar will get a lot messier.
Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich in the First Warn Weather Center with the very latest. Hey, Brad.
Yeah, I'm going to start first with the forecast overnight because we've got no concerns here. So tomorrow morning, a crisp, cold start to the day. Temperatures in the mid, maybe even some low 20s in a few neighborhoods, and we will see the sunshine tomorrow. It'll be noticeably cooler. Now that's setting the stage for what's heading our way on Thursday. Here's our storm. You can see it's snowing across most of Texas, Oklahoma, down into central Texas. We're getting a little bit of an icy mix there. That's our storm system beginning to push to the east. We've got winter storm watches up for most of our area. These are likely going to be expanded or upgraded at some point early tomorrow to either ice storm warnings, a freezing rain advisory, or a winter storm warning. And ice is our primary concern in this setup. I would love to see it be more sleet than freezing rain. That would reduce the damage to trees and power lines. But either way, ice is going to be our primary concern. Temperatures have cooled into the 20s and teens to our north and west. So some of that Arctic air we've been hearing about back to the west is actually moving into the region, and the air is very dry. That's key because as some of the moisture heads our way, it'll evaporate in this dry air. But that actually causes the air to cool down through a process of evaporative cooling, and that kind of sets the stage for this icy mess because that cold air wedged up against the mountains is going to be shallow. The warm air is going to ride up and over it, so we could have a prolonged period of freezing rain, possibly sleet, and sleet would be a saving grace because, like I said, it would reduce the damage to trees and power lines. It's not great for the roads, but it certainly would reduce the threat to the trees and the power lines. And this system isn't in a big hurry to move. It hangs out Thursday night through Friday morning, so we could see that ice stick around for a while. Coming up, we'll break down the timing, and I have a new updated ice map that kind of shows you where I think the worst of this is going to fall and who could see some power outages by Thursday.
Okay, Brett, thank you. This winter blast coming at a really tough time for people living in Tent City. That's the homeless camp just outside of Uptown Charlotte. Today, those residents were told they have to vacate the area by Friday at 5 because the camp has become infested with rats. Local health leaders say it's not safe for any human to live here. WCNC Charlotte's Hunter Sines broke this story for us at 5 and joins us now with the latest.
Those who live here in Tent City had no warning about this. They now have less than 72 hours to vacate this area after that order was given. And now some say those who help may be part of the problem.
They know we homeless. They know we ain't got no help out here.
Those who live in Tent City will have to move again, many with no warning.
Like, y'all the reason why I funked up today.
Mecklenburg County Health Director Gibby Harris issuing an abatement of imminent hazard order, forcing everyone out by 5 p.m. on Friday. Anyone who doesn't leave can be charged with a misdemeanor.
This is not a situation that anybody should be living in.
Harris says Tent City is infested with rats. She's concerned about the diseases spread by rodents and the pollution found in fumes from fires burned to keep warm.
To be perfectly honest, if I had my way, we would make a change in 24 hours. It is just not safe for people to be living in this environment.
Heath Burchett leads Watchmen of the Streets, a nonprofit that helps our homeless neighbors. He says good intentions by people leaving food and clothes has helped lead to rats and poor living conditions.
Don't just leave piles of stuff everywhere at these camps, because it's not only the homeless having to be responsible, but we can't create the mess for them and then cause them to get relocated.
Mecklenburg County says everyone in Tent City will be offered a hotel room for free, but they aren't sure for how long.
And we don't have an end game today. We just know we have a health hazard that we have to address and try to make sure people are safe.
A temporary but controversial fix as those who live here wait for a permanent solution.
What city is a good city with the power to help you and not doing it?
So far, we've seen no boots on the ground from county officials trying to get the word out. That's been all on the nonprofit organizations. The county says people who live out here in Tent City can call 211 to get that free room or any other help. But people I've spoken with here say that's a bit difficult when you don't have a phone to make the call. Just outside of Uptown, Hunter Signs, WCNC Charlotte.
We are getting new videos of the devastation after deadly EF3 tornado tore through a neighborhood in Brunswick County on the Carolina coast late last night. 3 people were killed, 10 others were hurt, an estimated 50 homes were damaged. Power lines were ripped down and trees snapped in half.
The system that caused that damage is part of the same massive winter storm that has left millions of people across the country in the dark and record-breaking cold temperatures. In Texas, rolling blackouts have utility companies struggling in the field as they try to work on top of sheets of ice. These harsh conditions will continue. Forecasters say another round of bone-chilling temperatures and snow is headed to Texas and parts of the Deep South. That severe weather is causing shipment delays impacting some of our local vaccination clinics. So listen up. If you have something scheduled in Lancaster or Chester County, there's a shuffle of appointments happening this week. If you had an appointment for tomorrow, it will now be next Monday. Thursday appointments will be next Tuesday. Friday appointments will be next Wednesday. Your appointment time will stay the same, though, and you'll go to the Lancaster Hospital to get your dose. If your appointment is affected, of course, you will also get a phone call notifying you of the change.
In Mecklenburg County, health providers are gearing up for the onslaught of appointments once teachers and school staff can sign up next week. But those health officials are stressed, saying they don't have enough doses for those who are eligible right now. Starting February 24th, teachers can book their spots. And then on March 10th, other frontline essential workers can make their appointments. But Novant and local health leaders said today they are already foreseeing a problem with supply.
We weren't done with Group 1 before we opened to Group 2, and now we're opening to Group 3 without really a big increase in allocation.
We'd love to have all of that done before we move into the March 10th date with the rest of Group 3, but don't anticipate that happening.
Novant says if they get a larger allocation of doses than they currently have, they can do additional events to vaccinate teachers. But right now, they don't know if that larger shipment will come.
An update tonight for Lancaster County schools, middle schools and high schoolers will go back to in-person learning 4 days a week starting March 22nd, just like elementary school students. So the school board voted unanimously on the schedule tonight. The district says it will use this as a 2-week trial period leading up to spring break in case South Carolina passes a bill requiring in-person learning 5 days a week. The district will keep a virtual learning option open as well. New at 11, a Union County principal is breaking her silence about her arrest. Catherine Earp is the principal at Poplin Elementary School in Indian Trail. She was charged in Asheville last month with misdemeanor simple assault. Earp released a statement tonight apologizing for any embarrassment this has caused the school. She went on to say, quote, "I am dedicated to serving our students and staff and leading Poplin as we continue high quality instruction and keeping our schools safe."
We're hearing the new 911 calls from police shooting that claimed the life of a woman in Gaston County last week. Investigators say they responded to a reported overdose on Mountain Avenue in Gastonia a little after midnight on February 7th. When officers got there, they found a woman with a gun inside the home, later identified as 33-year-old Shay Jones. One of the officers shot Jones, who died days later. Tonight, we are hearing what Jones told a 911 dispatcher about her gun before officers arrived on the scene.
It's loaded and stocked and ready to go. Come near me, you dead.
Jones's family said she had been released from the hospital the same day as the shooting after suffering 3 seizures. Gastonia police have called in the State Bureau of Investigation to handle the case. The officer involved in the shooting has been placed on administrative leave.
New at 11, a heartbreaking story out of Cornelius. Police say an accidental shooting ended with a woman dead and her youngest child recovering in the hospital. Investigators say this was the result of another child getting a hold of a loaded gun. WCNC Charlotte's Brianna Harper shares the warning from police to help prevent yet another tragedy like this one.
Police say it was a tragic accident here at the Cornelius Village Apartments when a child managed to get their hands on a gun and the consequences turned out to be deadly. An urgent 911 call led police to the Cornelius Village Apartments Monday evening, and inside one of the units they discovered heartbreak. A young mother, 25-year-old Gabrielle Henderson, found shot and killed. Detectives learned she and her 5 children were the only ones home at the time of the shooting, and further investigation led police to believe one of the children found the gun inside the mother's purse, then accidentally pulled the trigger, a shot that killed Henderson and injured another child.
We understand that children can't differentiate most of the time between a real gun and a toy gun.
Which is why police say gun safety is so important.
That it is the law to put guns away from the reach of children, that you unload it, you lock it with a gun lock.
Cornelius police are even offering to provide free gun locks to those in the community who need it.
And whatever we can do to prevent this in the future, you know, we want to do that.
But for now, a family is left to deal with one unimaginable loss, taking time and comfort to heal.
The kids are going to have a lifetime of processing this and living with this. And you know, we at the Cornelius Police Department will be there to help them through whatever they need.
And Cornelius police say they will not be releasing the names or ages of the children involved to protect their identity. And of course, no charges will be filed in this case. Brianna Harper reporting in Cornelius for WCNC Charlotte.
Still to come, new CDC guidance says people who are fully vaccinated don't have to quarantine if they have a COVID exposure. But does that mean you can't spread the virus if you're vaccinated? We ask health experts to verify. Next.
And coming up, we're talking about the threat for ice across the area. How much ice is it going to take to cause issues? I'll explain, and I'll talk about areas I think could see some power outages on Thursday.
All this month, WCNC Charlotte is celebrating Black History Month by highlighting historical people and places in Charlotte and the Carolinas. Today, we honor the Friendship Nine. In 1961, they were arrested after staging a sit-in at a segregated lunch counter in Rock Hill. The Friendship Nine refused to bail out of jail, instead serving 30 days hard labor to draw attention to the cause of integration. To learn more, go to our Black History Month page at WCNC.com or the WCNC News app.